friends! Welcome to Belle's Library. I'm Heather. And today I have a really fun video for you guys. I'm going to be recommending books based off of your favorite board games. This was kind of a fun idea that popped in my head when I was reading a certain book, which we'll get to in a minute. But I thought it just would be really fun to think about different board games, and if they were your favorite game, maybe when you were a kid or even now, what book would I recommend to you based on your board game taste, I guess? So I also think this could make a really fun tag video. So down below, I'm going to put the books and board game tag and the prompts that I'm kind of talking about a little bit today, in case anybody else wants to make this video. I know I am a very small YouTuber over here, still kind of working myself into the booktube universe, but I know I have a few booktubers that may want to make this tag, and so if you guys are watching this and you want to, then definitely check out down below and you can use those prompts and whatnot. If not, then no big deal. I understand, and we're just going to make this video about recommending books based off of your board game taste. So the first book I'm going to talk about was the book that kind of jump-started this whole idea for me, and that was Clue. So the board game Clue is my personal favorite board game. I absolutely love the whodunit, gotta figure out the mystery. Like, it's my bread and butter right there. I love logic-y type books, logic-y type board games, and I don't know, Clue's just my absolute favorite. So the book that I am going to recommend to you, if you enjoy a good whodunit mystery and you love the board game Clue, is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. So this story follows a cast of characters that go to this island for a wedding. And the only thing on this island, it's not a super big island, is the wedding venue. It's got its own hotel built in and restaurant, and it just kind of does everything. And this is actually going to be the first wedding done there. And we follow actually like 6 different people, like the bride, the groom, the bridesmaid, just like a bunch of different people. We're trying to figure out who even was murdered, and we just know that eventually there's a murder, and we're just following all these people and all of their dirty secrets and what they're doing and some of their past, and there definitely were some shocking little twists and turns throughout this one, and I just really thoroughly enjoyed this book. So I hope that you will too if you enjoy the board game Clue. So the next board game that I thought of was Jenga, and this one I was like, okay, if you really like Jenga, you like to be kind of on the edge of your seat and just kind of ready for everything to just crash to the ground. So I was trying to think of like an intense thriller type book that would work for this one, and I decided to go with Playing Nice by J.P. Delaney. I feel like this one fits because throughout the whole thing you're just kind of waiting for things to just crash and fall apart and just like go awful, and that's literally like you're just waiting for that other shoe to drop, like majorly. In this story we were following these 2 families, and basically their kids got switched at birth when they were in the NICU, and they find out, and the kids are like, I don't know, I want to say they were like 2 or 3 years old or something. One of the dads goes to the other dad and he's like, hey, I found out that, you know, our kids got switched at birth, and I'm not saying that I want to take your kid from you, but I would like to know this other kid, and maybe we can just like know each other's families and be a part of each other's lives. And you know, it's a thriller book, so it does not go that smoothly. So this next recommendation may be a little bit of a jump, but we're gonna go with it, and that is for Checkers. So with this one I decided to pick a book that jumps into different time. That came out awkwardly, but I was just thinking, like in Checkers, you're like jumping and you've got, so maybe like some time jumps or something as you're jumping over the pieces. I don't know, but I also was thinking like if you're playing checkers, that's kind of more of a logical game too. So maybe something with some kind of logic or puzzle or something like that. Anyways, So I went with Goddess in the Machine by Laura Beth Johnson. So in this one, we're following Andra, and she is put into a cryonic sleep, and she's supposed to be getting transported to another planet because Earth is dying, and she expects to be waking up in 100 years, but she wakes up in 1,000 years, and everyone is calling her Goddess. So it has a fun kind of mystery almost, because she's like, what in the heck happened here? As well as, you know, it's a sci-fi, you've got some different logical pieces going on in there, and we have some fun time jumps. So the next board game I was thinking of was Twister. And for this one, I was looking for something, I guess, with a lot of twists and turns, and I don't know that this one's necessarily relating to the person that likes Twister, who maybe likes something kind of fun and funky and laughable, but I just took this in another way and we went with something twisty-turny. So I have Known Exit by Taylor Adams. This one is chock full of freaking twists. I mean, it is all over the place. Basically, this girl gets stranded at a rest stop because the blizzard outside is just too much for her little Honda car. And when she's there, she goes outside to make a phone call and she sees this little hand hit the back of this van, and there's a girl just like locked in this van, and she's trying to figure out who of these there's like 5 other people or 4 other people there, are the ones who have kidnapped this kid and stuffed her in the back of a van, and she's trying to figure out what to do. And yeah, lots and lots of twists. Like every time I was like, oh, okay, but there's still so much more. Like this can't be the last twist, right? And so it was just like twist and twist and twist. And I mean, not a super fun, lighthearted type of a book, but definitely fast-paced and fun to get through. Like it was very intense and thrilling. So the next board game I was thinking of was Battleship, and this board game requires a lot of strategy. So I was trying to think of a book that had some strategy in it and that could be enjoyed by someone who enjoys Battleship. So I was thinking of A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne Brown. And I thought this one would be just really fun because there is a game element to this in which our main character, he needs to win this championship game to, sorry, we got a package, so the dog's, you know, a little excited. Anyway, so A Song of Wraiths and Ruin, our main character is trying to win this competition so that he can marry the princess and kill her so he can get his sister back. I think it was a sister. And then the princess is also strategizing because she needs the heart of a king, and so she's like, I'm gonna marry this person who wins and then I'm gonna kill them. So it's very very interesting, but yeah, lots of kind of strategy between the both of them as they're trying to figure out how to get what they want, basically. So that is my recommendation here. Okay, so the next one I was having a little bit of a hard time with, and that was Monopoly. So I was like, okay, Monopoly, maybe we can figure out some kind of book that deals with money and businesses and some kind of something. And I literally couldn't think of anything that I've read like this. I can think of like other books that I want to read, like Tweet Cute sounds really cute, and it's like a YA romance contemporary. And these 2 kids are like tweeting at each other for their different companies and trying to win their war over grilled cheese. I don't know, something like that. So that one sounded really cute, but I haven't read that. So I was trying to, you know, go with books I've read, obviously. So I'm going to recommend When Dimple Met Rishi. The reason I've decided on this one was because Dimple and Rishi went to Stanford to develop this app in this like summer school thing where they're like learning about business and how to develop an app and market it and different stuff like that. And I was like, if you are trying to monopolize something and become a strong businessy person, and you like to kind of take over that kind of stuff, maybe you'll enjoy this story. It is more of a YA romance, so you do have that element to it as they get to know each other and whatnot. So you kind of have that lighter, fluffier side to it too, but you also get this fun kind of computery app side to it as well. So this next one, this one kind of made me laugh. I really liked it. So Sorry is our next game. So if you really liked to play Sorry, you know when you actually pull the Sorry card and you're like, sorry, as you knock the person back to where they were? But are you really sorry? Not really. You're kind of happy that you're backstabbing this person and throwing them back into Star, and then you get to get ahead. So I was like, okay, we need a good book that has some good backstabbing in it, and so we're gonna go with He Started It. We're following this family of like 3 siblings and their spouses as they have to go across the country on this road trip that they did when they were kids together with their grandpa. And their grandpa dies and he says, you need to go on this road trip again in order to get my inheritance. And well, these characters, they may seem at first to be like okay people, but you will learn that they are all not nice people. And there's quite a bit of backstabbing and crazy stuff going on, and I still don't even fully think I understood all of the ending because there was a lot. So that was a really fun one. Oh, and that one's by Samantha Downing. So check that one out if Sorry is your favorite game. So the next game I'm going to talk about is a really fun game that I also much enjoy, and that's Cranium. If you have never played this game, it involves it's almost like Pictionary, but with other stuff going on too. Like sometimes you have to draw things, but sometimes you have to shape it with clay, and sometimes they're like more logical type questions, or singing, or acting, or just different stuff going on. So for this person, I feel like they enjoy an artistic side, but they also enjoy a logic side, because we've got a little bit of all of that. You've got to use your whole cranium going on. So I decided to go with Caraval. Hear me out on this one. So Caraval, definitely lyrical, writing, artistic. It's got like some very artistic sides to it, like very fun atmosphere, and it's just like very creative. It is very creative. The way the storytelling is very creative. But we're also following a game in which we need to find who kidnapped, or not who kidnapped, but where Scarlett's sister Della is. And that is the whole object of this game, is all these people are coming together to find her, and so they can get their wish granted by Legendary, or Legend, sorry. The next book's called Legendary, but his name's Legend. Anyway, so you've got kind of a logical side, because we're trying to figure out what happened here and put these pieces together. So yes, Cranium, Caraval, that is my suggestion here. So next up, if you like chess, I think you will like To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. I chose this one because with chess, there's a lot of thinking that's involved in that, and so I just wanted a book that really made you think. And this book was super fun and made you really think about how this would actually go. If you went into a cryonic sleep, what about when you wake up? Did your hair stop growing? Where were you getting rid of any waste materials that you had? There's just so much to think about there. And then you're going to these other planets and you're exploring them. But how are you going to affect these planets? And how are they going to affect you? And how are they going to look? And what are different things going to look like on all these different planets? And how are they going to be affected by different stuff? And I don't know. It was very interesting to think about all of the different science behind it. But Becky Chambers also did it in a way where it was very accessible and very well told, and you just were enjoying the ride and the atmosphere of the entire story. Okay, we've got 2 more. So Candyland is our next one, and Candyland is like the sickly, sweet, gooey, fun board game that's just it's all about candy, right? And so I have the perfect book for this, and that is Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shauna McGuire. This is the 3rd book in the Wayward Children series, and it is like literally we're traveling to the world of Candyland, pretty much. So if you guys haven't heard of this series, basically following all these kids, they stumble upon doors into other worlds that maybe fit them a little bit better, and for whatever reason, a lot of times they end up getting kicked back to our world or stumbling back into our world, and they end up at this school for all these kids, and so they can be understood because they want to get back to their doors. They want to find their door again and get back. And so sometimes we're following stories that are based more at the school, and sometimes we're getting into some of these other worlds that these kids have gone into. So in this third book that I am referring to, we are following into Sumi's world, and she just has this illogical world made out of candy, like literally made out of candy everywhere. So it is super fun, and that was my favorite book so far in the series, so enjoyed that one quite a bit. Okay, and then this last book, I wasn't even sure I was going to include on here because I was having a hard time figuring this one out. So The Game of Life. Like, I was like, oh, we can do a book that spans an entire life, right? And that would be totally cool. But what books have I read that span in someone's entire life? I have not read very many of those, and I didn't realize that I hadn't until I was making this video. So the one I'm going to go with, let me see if I have it on this shelf. Yeah, it's on my other shelf, but Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. This was the one that I could think of because we are following Jacob Jankowski and him in college. I don't know that we see a lot of his younger time, but he's at the circus and we're seeing him kind of in his 20s. And then we're also seeing him in the nursing home when he's like 90 and he's telling his stories, and we're getting to see him there, and he tells a little bit more about him and Marlena and their journey. And we kind of get to see his life a little bit, and we get to see a little bit of his kids, and yeah, I feel like that spanned the most time as far as a life goes, and it was a very beautiful picture of life when you're young and life when you're older and how that all works, and I would highly recommend Water for Elephants if you like The Game of Life. So those are all of the board games and books recommendations that I have for you guys today. I would absolutely love it if in the comments, if you guys got this far, you would put a candy emoji down below. I think that would be super fun. And if you are a booktuber and you want to make this, again, I will put the prompts down below and you guys can check it out. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. My Goodreads and Instagram will be down below for you guys if you want to check any of those out. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Tell me what you think, and I will talk to you guys soon.